The alleged masterminds of Singapore's 2013 penny stock crash, Malaysians John So Chee and Quah Su-Ling, have been found guilty of a combined 349 charges involving forced trading, share manipulation and deception. So and Quah had been on trial over the past 3 years for orchestrating the manipulation of 3 penny stocks, Bluemont Group, Asia Suns Capital and Lion Gold Corp, which collapsed, destroying some 8 billion Singapore dollars in market value. According to The Edge Singapore, Singapore High Court Judge Justice Hu Xiaopeng said in her verdict today that participation in criminal conspiracy itself is an offence. Hu went on to convict So of 180 charges of the 188 he was facing, while Quah was convicted of 169 out of the 178 she was facing. Their sentencing is expected to take place on a later date. The saga has been described as Singapore's largest ever and most serious share manipulation case. It involved 189 securities trading accounts held with 20 financial institutions and 60 individuals and companies. CIMB Group Holdings is looking to split the CEO job at its group wholesale banking segment into 2, say multiple sources familiar with the matter, resulting in co-CEO positions to separately oversee the Treasury and Markets segment and the Corporate and Investment Banking segment. Group Wholesale Banking is the lender's largest contributor in terms of profit before tax for FY21. It presently has 3 business units parked under it: Corporate, Treasury and Markets, and Investment Banking. A source said the head of Southeast Asia Equity Capital Markets at JP Morgan Chase & Co., Novan Amiruddin, who had resigned from the foreign bank, will be joining CIMB as its co-CEO of Wholesale Banking, overseeing the corporate and investment banking business. Meanwhile, Chu Kok Wei, the current group head of Treasury Business at CIMB, will be the other co-CEO of Wholesale Banking and will oversee Treasury and Markets. When contacted, CIMB said in a written reply that it does not comment on rumours or reports speculative in nature. The head of wholesale banking position has been vacant after Omar Siddiq resigned from the post in January to become HSBC Bank Malaysia's CEO. At the close, CIMB's share price was down 1.73% to 5 ringgit 11 cent, giving it a market capitalisation of 53.52 billion ringgit. Analysts believe winners of the recently announced digital banking license are not major threats and can coexist with their conventional counterparts. The 5 successful applicants for the digital banking licenses are a consortium of Boost Holdings and RHB Bank, a consortium led by GXS Bank and the Quah brothers, a consortium led by C and YTL Digital Capital, a consortium of Aeon Financial Services, Aeon Credit Service Malaysia and Moneyline Inc., and a consortium led by CAF Investment Bank. In a note today, Hong Leong Investment Bank research analyst Chan Jik Hong said that based on trends seen in China and South Korea, the digital banking license winners can coexist quite harmoniously with conventional banks. He said the primary existence of these digital banks is to address market gaps in the underserved and unserved segments, which, to begin with, are not the playground of conventional banks. Additionally, the assets of the 5 digital banking licensees, at a combined 15 billion ringgit, could potentially shave away only less than 1% share of system loans. Conventional banks have also already equipped themselves ahead of time by embarking on digital transformation projects to shift away from outdated business paradigms. Likewise, CGS-CIMB research analyst Winston Ng said the new digital banks shouldn't pose any significant threat to the businesses of incumbent lenders in the next 3 to 4 years. Ng added that RHB Bank, via its joint venture with Boost, is the only Malaysian bank that had secured the license, and noted that this would be negative for the bank in the short term due to potential operating losses. In the longer term, though, this win is expected to turn positive. Shares of Aeon Credit, RHB Bank, YTL Corp and Axiata, which climbed immediately following the announcement of their wins last Friday, pared some of their gains today. At the close, Aeon Credit was down 2.52% at 15 ringgit 50 sen. RHB Bank fell 3.2% to 6 ringgit 5 sen. YTL Corp tumbled 3.94% to 61 sen. And Axiata ended the day down 3.13% at 3 ringgit 40 sen. Diversified Group Cahaya Mata Sarawak, or CMS, is selling its entire 25% stakes in OM Materials Sarawak and OM Materials Samalaju to OM Materials Singapore for a combined $120 million or 521 million ringgit cash. Currently, the remaining 75% stakes in both companies are owned by OMS, a subsidiary of OM Holdings, which is listed on the Australian Securities Exchange and Bursa Malaysia. In a filing with Bursa today, CMS said its subsidiary Samalaju Industries has inked a binding offer with OMS for the proposed disposals, and that the offer is subject to a definitive agreement to be entered into between the two parties by May 30th. It said the cash consideration of $120 million includes a full and final settlement and full discharge of all shareholders' loans, including interest, extended by Samalaju Industries to the companies as of the closing date. As of March 31st, CMS said the total shareholders' loans, including interest, stood at $10.51 million. CMS shares ended today up 4.67% at 1 ringgit 12 sen, while OM Holdings shares were 6.18% higher at 2 ringgit 92 apiece. Independent advisor Main Street Advisors is telling shareholders of Computer Forms Malaysia to reject the takeover bid by Datuk Sri Dr. Jackie Pang Chow Huat, as his offer is both deemed as not fair and not reasonable. Pang is the founder and MD of Sunichi Technology. Main Street Advisors explained that the offer price of 60 sen is not fair, as it represents a discount of between 14.2 sen or 19.14% and 22 sen, 26.83% to the 5-day, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month and 1 year volume-weighted average market prices of Computer Forms shares, adjusted for the bonus issue and special interim dividend up to March 30th. It is also of the view that the offer is not reasonable, because Pang intends to maintain the listing status of Computer Forms on the main market of Bursa Malaysia, so shareholders will still be able to continue trading in the shares since the stock will still be listed. Computer Forms, which makes computer paper documents and other customized forms, saw its shares fall 9.09% to 65 sen for a market capitalization of 133.25 million ringgit.